recording live. Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Down Over.
I'm down here in Australia.
And I'm up here in Southern California. Here we go. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are the Tech Down Over guys. And today we've got a little bit of tech for you. Jeff, you got a new toy last week.
Yes, I picked up the Panasonic, what would you say, the what was the number of it again?
FZ1000.
FZ1000. We was having a talk in the pre-show and we thought I'd bought the wrong camera, but no, I just wrote the wrong number down, the FZ1000. And it's a great little camera for the price for 4K video recording. So of course I did an unboxing last weekend and put a video together with some test shots. Went out down in the city of Melbourne last Sunday to see how it performed against my Canon XA10. So we'll probably talk about that in another show, but I've been having fun this week going through all the video shots, putting the 4K thing down on a video. But I must say, editing in 4K, I've never done any. This is my first little getting my feet wet with 4K, but it does take a lot out on the system.
It does.
And you don't realize that size. It does make it very hard on the system. And as Rick was saying, I think to me early in the pre-show, that the Macs do struggle a little bit with the 4K footage. Yeah. Don't know if anybody else has had that problem.
Yeah, they do struggle a little bit. It runs okay, but every so often it just kind of hangs a bit. Now, I run the 4K footage. I've tried it on the Mac. It runs okay. Not great. You could see definitely some little slow motion every so often when you don't want slow motion. But it's the machine trying to keep up. And Panasonic uses a compressed 4K file, which is very efficient. It still taxes the system. And then I've tried it on my Windows machine, which is a really fast powered machine with SSDs and everything, and it's smooth. On Windows, it's smooth, except when you're bringing it into Lightroom. Every so often, it just becomes jerky, and then it kind of catches up to itself, and then it's fine. But 4K does put a little bit more of a toll on a system than normal, but the quality is worth it.
I found it was still easy to edit with it. It's just I was looking at the quality on the screen and getting really worried, thinking I've paid this extra money to get a 4K camera, and I'm getting all this rolling shutter and this moraying effect on the video. But it was only on my editing deck. Once I published it, that was gone there. So even though it said do the full quality on the screen, but that was acceptable while I was editing. Yep. I don't need it to be perfect while I'm editing it, as long as I know the end result is the best quality.
Now there are some features in Premiere that maybe, I'm not sure if you've got them all turned on. There are some GPU features as well as allocation of memory, which may help. May help.
But in mine, I think I've got the 32 gig of RAM, and I've allocated, I think it's 28 for the program, and just a little bit left over. But I always seem to think that Premiere does have a problem with the graphics card on the Macs. Right. Sometimes it works, but not as efficiently as some like Final Cut.
And
never a problem.
And the other trick is to make sure that your buffer, your temporary space, is on a different drive. So that's because they always get you that. If you go into your preferences and temporary space, that's one of the things that always gets people. Well, this week, I was watching a review the other day, and I went, wow, this is a nice new little camera. It is the PowerShot G7X. And we've got a little video from Canon to highlight it. So here we go.
Well, the best thing about being a Canon explorer is using this great gear and at the same time exploring these exciting new locations like the world's largest underground trampoline here in Wales. What's surprising about the G7X, actually it's small form factor, but at the same time it packs a lot of features and a lot of control. What makes this camera really good in low light photography? First of all, it's the big sensor. the fast lens f1.8, and on top of that, the image processor. It really deals well with information and getting perfect shots in low light. The real benefits of having high ISO is that even if you are in low light conditions, you still get faster shutter speeds, and that allows you to make the photo without using a flash. The combination between a large sensor and a fast aperture f1.8 allows you to get narrow depth of field, so you can focus on the subject at the same time get a nice blur behind him. What's really fantastic about having this lens control ring is that actually you can change all the main settings with just a flick of a hand. So aperture, shutter speed and ISO. And also you can assign different features like focusing. What's really good about a fast autofocus, it locks on really quickly. Having 31 autofocus points helps because the camera can analyze the whole scene and just pick the best spot to focus. Having touch autofocus helps because you don't have to go through the controls to change autofocus. You just simply touch the screen and select a point. So for more advanced photographers, this camera offers raw shooting and also manual focus peaking. Having a built-in ND filter really cuts down the light in bright conditions, so it allows you to have slow shutter speeds, which allows you some other photo techniques, for example, blurring water on a waterfall. Being able to adjust the angle of the screen helps me to be creative, because I can make low angle shots, but at the same time I can, just make a selfie of myself. To use my smartphone as remote is really clever, because I can have a live preview, zoom, and also I can set the timer, and then I can take the shot without running back and forth. Well, the G7X is great for shooting video because it offers you full HD, 60 frames per second, has a great algorithm to take out noise. While shooting video, I have manual control over shutter speed, aperture, and ISO, which makes for really great footage. Handheld HDR is a really cool feature. The camera takes 3 photos in a row with 3 different exposures and combines them into one single photo. So you can have full detail on highlights, shadows and midtones at the same time. The G7X has a star mode, which gives you the best settings to make star trails and time lapses. NFC and Wi-Fi is really great. I can tap and connect easily to my smartphone. Also with Image Sync I can back up my images to the cloud. I really love the G7X because in a small form camera you got all the advanced features you need to make really great photos. You got touchscreen, the control dials, exposure compensation, fast aperture. I love it.
And that looks like a great little camera. But there's a reason I wouldn't buy it. There's a couple of reasons.
Why is that?
There's no hot shoe on top. That's one. So you can't put an external flash or anything else or any other kind of attachment. And there's no audio input. So if you're looking strictly for a great photo video camera that's really relying only on the mic, the internal mic, meaning you're better off shooting nice wildlife shots or something that doesn't have a lot of audio to it, or you don't want to do flash, any kind of flash photography because you have a built-in flash, but that's it. You can't do anything better. But other than that, it looks like a great little camera.
Yeah, well, I was looking at that too, and I thought that's another one that's convincing me I need to buy another camera. Yeah. And they're going for around about here, I don't know how much they're, but about $849 here in Australia.
So that's maybe about $600 here.
Yeah, and what I liked with it is, it was saying in the video there, it's got its large sensor, and all the controls on it. It's got pretty much like the controls of the Canon 70D in a small camera by the looks of it. It's got the autofocus. It's got the follow focus by touching on the screen. It's and one of the things that on my Canon 60D, they've got the leveling control, but when you're on the LCD, you either see that or look through the viewfinder. You can't have everything on there, whereas it's got the little leveling device in the bottom middle of the screen. So it's got everything in there, easy to change the ISO, and the aperture and that, and I think it goes down to 1.8. Was it the?
Yeah,
The
1.8,
aperture,
which
I
is
think
not
it was.
bad. That's not bad at all. It's a pretty fast lens.
And by looking at it, I think, like you said, it's not going to be the camera that you'll need if you want to do serious shooting with like your audio and with the hot shoe with a microphone on it. But it's one of those things that like you might throw into your briefcase. You can have put women in with their handbags, so you've got something with great quality that
Right.
you just want it to be there. So.
Yeah, and it looks like a nice little camera. I don't think that's replacing the PowerShot G16. I think there'll be a G17 probably, which is a little bit bigger. The PowerShot is definitely a little bigger than that one. But nice camera. Short of those two little things, I think it's got a lot of nice features. It looks like it takes beautiful video and photos. I was looking at some of the shots he had. They were gorgeous.
And also, it does the HDR. So they showed you one there as a standard shot, and then in the HDR mode. And like a lot of us who use the HDR by combining two or three,
Right.
3 or 4 shots together, that's doing it all in the camera itself, so you don't have to even think about it. So
No, and
it's,
if you're watching and aren't sure what HDR is, it's used as high dynamic range. So it's kind of like bracketing, where you take 3 different pictures of different exposures, and then you get kind of the resulting. It's similar to that, because what HDR allows you to do is take really good shots even in shade. So it gives you a lot more dynamic range to pick up things that a normal lens or a normal camera wouldn't be able to do. And it seems like all of the cameras right now are doing HDR. But moving on from cameras, I got a toy the other day, and let me
what's that?
switch over to this shot. This is the Apple iPad Air 2. So I'm going to turn that on, type in this security code, and here we go. Now, if you can see it right there, it looks pretty clear. It's fast. It is a lot faster than the original. I had the original iPad Air. The 2 is really nice, and it's got the AC networking, so your networking videos load a lot faster.
All right.
It's very zippy as you go from screen to screen. You can tell it's moving pretty quickly. I don't have a lot of stuff on this yet. If I go to launch something, for example, what do I have here? Let's see. I don't have a lot of apps on this yet, but if I try to launch something, it's pretty fast. It just goes. I have no idea what I launched there, but Facebook app. Did I not press it? It's pretty quick. It's in there already. So it does move quickly. It's nice. On the whole, I was surprised at the speed, performance, and thinness of it. It is thin. We actually put this up against the Air, and it is a little thinner, 18% thinner. The other one was pretty small too, so they don't feel that different in the hand. They're about the same weight. Maybe this is a little bit lighter, but it is thinner. And the screen, now it's a Retina screen. It's noticeable. There is a huge difference between this screen and the previous one. This is a lot cleaner. So anyway, Apple Air 2. You're not going to see anything that drastically different in terms of the iOS. It's still iOS, iOS 8.1, I believe it is. It runs nice. It's a nice device, and really no complaints about what it does. It just sometimes I go, gee, I got a new one, but what's really different? You have to. It's not overtly different, short of the size, which is just slightly different to the hands. I have big hands, so to me it didn't feel that much smaller or that much lighter. But the screen, I could tell. The screen is where you go, oh, that looks nice. So it is sharper on the screen. So I haven't yet seen the new iMac, so I'm curious with those 5K displays. I've got to head to an Apple store and take a look because they probably look gorgeous.
Well, I went out yesterday and I saw the first time I'd seen that 5K display, and it does it does look excellent. What they've done in the stores, though, I think so you can't see the difference. We've got the old operating system, the Mavericks on the older machines, and haven't upgraded to Yosemite, because if you do, you'll be able to see the difference in the screen qualities with just the desktop picture. You can really see the difference on it. But anyway, the problem with the iMac is it's got such a darn good quality picture anyway.
Yes.
That you really do have to have them next to you. You really have to be like people like us who really appreciate that difference in quality. But if I was to show my mother these ones, I said, "So what's the difference?" And that's the thing. And same thing with the iPad with the Air. Like I got mine, what it'd be the last year's model,
just like me. Yep.
And I couldn't justify upgrading it. And I know one of the big things they did point out, that you said it, how much thinner it is, but people have sort of gone away from that. They don't really care too much about how thin. They probably would have liked it to be exactly the same thickness, but if it had twice the amount of, if it had 20 hours battery, because every time they cut it down, they cut down, the battery's got to be cut down as well. So something's got to give.
Yep.
And it's no bigger, no smaller in the hand, and that little bit of weight's not going to make that much difference.
No, and it comes in the same box. It looks like exactly the same box, but the attachment, for example, I have one of those Apple cases, which is this. Where am I? Right here. It's a nice case, but it does, now the buttons don't work as well on that. I have to get rid of the case or use it on my old one only, because it doesn't work quite the same way. So those are little things that you just kind of go, all right. It's always selling attachments. They're always making money on the attachment. I think actually Apple makes all its profit on attachments and accessories, because they make a fortune on that.
Well, to me, the Apple makes such a lovely product, but the only thing I hate about them is to make such a lovely product like the iPhones, the iPad, and you've got this lovely bit of equipment, and then you have to put it into a case which makes it 6 inches thicker.
I know.
It won't damage, and like they put these lovely gold colors with the white. You never see them, so you get your lovely gold new iPhone or your iPad, and you put it in this lovely red or black case. What's the point? And you've made it an inch thicker, so you might as well have had it thicker in the first place. But,
exactly.
But you can't go past that. They do make a darn good product. But I was seeing in the thing about the how the market share of Apple as opposed to, say, Samsung. It says Samsung's got probably a bigger market share there, but it was quite surprising that they had a 74% drop in profit, though, in their phone market.
Amazing, isn't it?
They've got the marketplace, but it's no good having all this out there if you're not making any money, though, I suppose, isn't it?
No, I think because they're subsidizing all of the phones, and I think Samsung made one huge mistake, which is what a lot of them are doing. They're coming out with phones too fast. People are getting into contracts. They can't get out fast enough. They want the new phone, and then they get irritated. And by the time they get to buy that phone, there's another phone. So a lot of people didn't go from the Galaxy 3 to the Galaxy 4. They waited for the 5. Some didn't go from the 4 to the Note. They waited for whatever. I have the HTC One Max, which I've got right here. Now, this is a big phone. This is 5.9 inches. And if I turn it on, you can kind of see what it looks like. And this is a very nice phone. It's a big phone. It's a little thicker. I don't mind. It's got very big speakers on the bottom. They said it's some of the best in the industry. But who listens really to a phone on speakers? It's just not quite right. No. But this, I looked at this phone and I looked against the Note 4 and the iPhone. I like this one better. It looked better. It's got a beautiful ISP or IPS display. And there's a rumor that sometime early first quarter, HTC will come out with, they're either going to call it the HTC One M8 Prime or M8 Max, or HTC One M9 Prime or Max. And that will blow the Note 4 away. They've got some technology and more pixels, more this, more that. So I'm going to wait. I was actually going to go buy the 4, and I'm glad they didn't have it in stock because I would have had it right now. And as a result, I'm going to wait a little bit longer because I wasn't that excited about the 4. It was cool, but it didn't. It
Not
didn't
much
say,
different.
Yeah, it didn't. I've had the 3, and it wasn't. I mean, it's faster, yes. Screen's about the same. It looked good. I just wasn't excited.
Well, the problem I have with any of these new phones, like I get excited about them and I want to get one, like I'm looking at, as we've said before, the iPhone 6 or the Note 4, but I can't get either of them. And by the time I end up getting one, by the time they're available, I'll think, hang on, that's about 6 months after there must be something new coming. So I'll end up waiting because I'm always scared I'll get left behind. Like you said before, you don't want to be locked into a 24-month contract and then something even better comes out.
Yep.
But I don't know if they've done they do that here with you pay I think $2 extra a month on your contract, and it allows you for a brand new phone in 12 months. Right. You give them the old one, and then you can change to the later one. So I think I'll go for that option next time.
Yeah, we have that too. I have that now. It's called the Edge program on Verizon. And it's for people like us who like tech, and you want to get out of your phones because you don't want a phone forever. This is the longest I've had a phone right now. Well, actually, except for my iPhones. I've had those pretty long. But I've had this one almost a year. Not quite. I think I'm on 9 months. So it's about due. But I'm going to wait a little longer. And the girl at Verizon told me, hang on to it for a bit longer. Don't switch if you like it. I went, she knows something I don't know. She couldn't say, but she just said, if you like it, don't upgrade. And they usually try to get you into any upgrade they can think of. So,
well, my phone's it's getting to nearly 4 years old, and I'm desperately waiting to get a new contract because with the phone plans, if you're out of contract, it costs you a fortune for data and everything else. So I've switched I don't use Twitter, I don't use Facebook on my phone. I use the phone just to make calls these days, but I want to go into the Note 4 and switch on the data pack again, but within a contract, so I want about 3 or 4 gig a month. So you can use the actual phone, but I'm just dying to get one of those things in. I'm leaning towards either the Note 4 at the moment or the iPhone 6, but I'm in the iPhone ecosystem, so that makes it easier than switching over. But the other, I suppose, whichever one comes first will be the one that sways me to which one I do go. But like I said, I like that HTC that you've got there. It is a really nice looking one. It's a metal case.
It's metal. It's aluminum.
Not plastic.
It's magnesium aluminum, I think. And it's very solid. I did have a problem with it last week, and I went in because it was heating up for the first time. What's going on? They changed the SIM card. It works fine again. SIM card.
It'd be funny to see with the phones. I'll wonder what Motorola will be doing now because I see during the week that Lenovo just paid $2.9 billion for them, and they've taken over.
Lenovo bought Motorola?
Yes,
they bought it from Google. Google bought Motorola about a year or two ago.
Yeah, they've sold it to Lenovo for $2.9 billion.
Wow, well, that was loyalty.
Yeah, so because I thought Google bought it, but then I thought I heard during the week that Lenovo have just bought it for $2.9 billion.
I think I know why Google may have dropped them, because it really goes against everyone to own a phone company or phone vendor when you are the operating system too. It puts you at an kind of an unfair advantage to a certain point. But Motorola, I've never been that happy with their phones. So it would take a lot to get me to buy a Motorola phone again. I had the Bionic, which was a piece of junk. And so I don't know how much I'm going to go back to a Motorola. Maybe. Well, Jeff, we are almost at the end of our time. Did you want to have one more topic?
Well, I was just still on the phones. I thought it's just strange, all the different ones that go around with different companies and that, like the what's Amazon, like their Fire phone. Did you see that's been quite a bit of a disaster, hasn't it?
It died. It died. I guess there were no sales, even though they had a good sales campaign.
And then that's the thing is, it's not, that doesn't say that it's a bad phone. It's just that maybe somebody else has got a better marketing campaign, and with the time of the Apple launch, I think everything's going to suffer a bit on there. So just to finish off, though, one of the things while we're on the Apple and that's and all the Android phones with the touch and pay system on with the the near field communication chip, I see where the Walmarts, the Best Buys, and the CVS and Rite Aid have switched off the payment system on that, and I've just wondered what you thought about it. I just think I can't see why they've done it.
Honestly, I can't see why either. I guess they're catering to the phone market, because I'd rather see what's coming next year, which is a device like they have in Europe, which you put your card in there and you have to give it a code, and it's much safer than what we have now. Now, for some odd reason, it took the U.S. over 10 years to do this. Everybody else has had it. But we don't. So as a result, we have more fraud than just about any country in the world. And this is supposed to stop some of the fraud. So hopefully, we get that. I don't see a purpose. I'm afraid that with a phone, if somebody gets my phone, you're dead. I don't know how fraud-proof it's going to be when somebody steals a phone or finds a phone. A little risky.
But it was funny to see with all this that the new one called Currency that they're trying to push. It was quite strange that they've already been hacked before they've gone live.
I know. That makes you wonder. Yeah, that makes you a little scared.
And I think the only thing I get the reason why they're doing it, they don't want to pay the credit card fees that they're paying on the Apple Pay system and all the Android Pay system. But the thing is, if you say you can't do that, I don't know about you, but if I can't pay with my phone, I'll just whip out the credit card and I'll still be paying the fees.
And it's no problem.
And then so in this one, you have to scan a QR code, then you have to go to your phone, then you have to type in an ID.
Yep.
But it's only hooked up to your bank account. Right. You can't have credit. So
and that's the bigger issue. We've done a lot of training in fraud in our company, and when you have a debit card, those get frauded all the time. If you're going to do any transaction, never use a debit card. They'll take money out of your account so fast, and you won't be protected like you are with a credit card. So that worries me more, that it's coming out of my bank account. I don't think I would use it.
But I'll just say with like they all seem to say, I think that will be dead within 6 months, or else it will be the best thing out. But
who knows?
There's always merits for each system, but I think if they just left the other one on and let it go by its merits, it might be a better system. We don't know. Let's see what happens anyway. So.
Well, next week, Jeff's going to share some HD footage with us and a comparison. I'm going to show you the difference between a $1,000 microphone and a $30 microphone. You may see a grown man cry after that one. So anyway, Jeff, as always, a pleasure. And all of you guys in the chat room, thanks for being there. And if you're watching the recording, please subscribe. Let us know what you think. We want to hear your feedback. So for Tech Down Over, we'll see you next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye, Jeff.
Bye.